Put the mic close to your mouth.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to African Center for Biotics channel. Welcome to our roundtable. I'm the anchor for this channel. My name is Rachel Oluwashio, and next to me is
Elizabeth Lawson.
to my right is
Taiwo Ade.
Dr. Bakari.
Mary Shukujeko.
Pascal Aneke.
Matthew Itodo.
Edna Benson. Ekemeka Roslyn.
and I would love to introduce the professor of this wonderful department, philosophy department, Prof. Okoro Chideze. Welcome, sir.
Professor Chedozie Okoro. Let me write.
Thank
Okay,
you all.
welcome.
Yeah, thank you all. It's a nice meeting with you, a nice forum, and I hope you go far with this. Thank you.
Thank you. We are going to listen to Dr. Matthew Itodo, his presentation. Let's get your topic and then in 5 minutes.
Thank you. My topic is subsumed under, when you check out go to our platform, you see the first topic is artificial intelligence, the promises and challenges. So my topic is a process, theological interpretation of God and AI in the advancement of human knowledge. It's subsumed under artificial intelligence. And specifically, one of them, I'm going to deal on the challenges posed by the issue of God. We all know that in our current world, there's no way we would discuss virtually everything of our life where we won't talk about God, because God appears as the anchor, the beginning and the foot, the beginning and the ending of everything in life. So there's no way we can shy away from this topic. Now, you want to ask, how does God concern the issue of AI? You want to ask the first question. You see, a lot of people have that conception that what is AI in the first place? AI is a subfield of computer science, which, as machines, um, takes the place of human intelligence. It performs tasks that are meant for human intelligence. But currently, at the pace at which AI is going, most people believe that it is taking not only taking the place of human intelligence, but also taking the place of God in the scheme of things in the world. So we want to ask: is this fear founded or unfounded? Is it really true that AI can not only take place of man, but the place of God? That's what I am concerned about briefly. I'm going to run through it. You see, I'm going to use process theology. Process theology is a subset of process philosophy, which is concerned with process, which just talks about changes. That everything you see in life is about experience, is about changes, is about things evolving from one aspect to another, or things elevating from one level to another. So when you see things as AI manifesting in chat GPT and every other aspect of life, you shouldn't be afraid that, oh, this thing is going to take the place of God. No, it is an aspect of life which is only moving from its present lower condition to its higher condition. Now, how does process theology come in? Process theology is also a subfield of process philosophy. Now, I'm going to use Professor Unav's interpretation of process theology. Professor Unav informs us that God is in the process of fulfillment. That is, process theology has to do with the notion that God is in the process of fulfillment, that He is not really unlimited. And when you say God is not limited, a lot of people will say, what are you saying? God is supposed to be unlimited. God is supposed to be the finality, the final of everything. But process theology tells us that God is not unlimited in every respect, not take note, in every respect. And he is also suffering and evolving and trying to develop himself to perfection. We can go to our Bible to cite instances. After all, there's somewhere in the Bible where we're told that God regretted. You understand? We are not, this is not blasphemy. There are instances in the Bible where I think, was it Moses or somebody that struck the rock? Is it a rock or so? And then God wasn't pleased with it. One would have asked, but God is supposed to be omniscient and omnipotent. Why didn't God, quickly prevented Moses from striking the rock harshly? So you now begin to see a sense in what process theology is all about. Now you need to ask, if AI is advancing at this rate and apparently taking the place of humans, Can it also take the place of God? That's the question we need to ask. Can it also take the place of God? Is it possible to take the place of God? In my own view, Christians and Muslims and religious people or fanatics shouldn't be scared. AI will not take the place of God or the place of man. That is a wrong, that's a misconception of what AI means or is. Because let me tell you something about this. What the simple thing is this. You see, AI is like the place of God in AI is like, let me use Dr. Dre's song, I've been there, done that. You see, AI is a phase in which God has experienced. God has moved away from this level of AI. So we are following God. Remember, God, Jesus Christ said, where I am, you will be also. So we are following the footsteps of God, footsteps of Jesus Christ. God has gone beyond this stage. So what we are experiencing through AI and breakthroughs in science are parts which God has already experienced in the past. So we are only following the footsteps of God. So no one should be scared that, oh, AI will take the place of God, take the place of man. God is still ahead of us. And that's why he's Almighty God. Oh, sorry, Almighty, yes, if you use the finite anthropomorphic conception of God. So I want to just conclude by saying that whenever you hear anybody tell you that, oh, AI is taking the place of man, taking the place of God, it is not true. AI will never take the place of God nor the place of man because God is far ahead. God has experienced things which we are presently experiencing. God has been there. God has been there. God has done that. That is how I'm going to conclude today. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Itodo, for that brief presentation, very concise. Well, let me say that God said, you have brought in theology into this. So I'm going to respond from my own understanding of theology. God said, let us create man in our own image. And then God created, God and maybe his brothers existed and created human being in their own image. Today, humans are creating AI in their own image. There is an externalization of human intelligence. So human being is also doing what God did, creating man in his own image. And at the time, God regretted, or creating human beings. When humans were going out of bounds, growing beyond God, trying building the tower, the biblical Tower of Babel, when they were intoxicated by their own knowledge, they lacked that wisdom to manage that knowledge. It became a dangerous knowledge, so to speak. And then God didn't want that dangerous knowledge to continue, intervened. Now we have created AI, and we are afraid that AI is taking our position. And we're even talking about singularity, merging human intelligence with artificial intelligence. And then what's that name? Geoffrey of that the one of the fathers of AI that resigned from Google because he saw that AI was going outside what he thought about AI. And then the Bible tells us about the end time when a chip is going to be planted in your head, they can control you with that chip. And I've seen we're going to see it in AI. So has always been that in this stage of human evolution. With every stage that comes, we suspect when machine was going, believe that machine was going to fulfillment of that apocalyptic literature. But what I say now that we have created AI in our own image, and we are afraid that this AI can even dominate us, even go beyond our control. Are we going to stop AI and we have become more or less dependent on AI? Or are we going to do AI with caution? How are we going to manage AI so that we continue to be in line with what we conceived of before we developed AI? And then it's a concretization in robotic technology.
Well, if I may borrow from some verses of Ifa, he says, Tabarubo, Tebo Bani, Tebo Je, Amanyawo, Awo Amanyo Lodumare, and Olodumare Nyila Omo. That is to say, if we go in the process, our traditional procedure of sacrifice and prayer, when our prayer and sacrifice have yielded fruits, we will go to the Babalawo and thank the Babalawo. Babalawo will be thanking God who God thanks, we don't know. So, what that means is that God is the extent of the human imagination. So, like he said, it's a process philosophy. The process with philosophy within African ontology, cosmology, it's not that God is suffering with us, no. It is that God is the limit of our imagination. So, what we say God is not God. So, like one mystic would say, God save us from God, for what we say God is isn't God. It's just to the projection of our imagination. But as for AI taking the place of man, I will say if we allow. Because taken from scriptures, if human beings in any culture, in any religion, is the highest representation of God, what does that mean? It means transcendence, because the whole thing, when you're talking about change, it means transcendence. All this transcendence, teleology, moving from quantitative to qualitative existence, moving from lower to higher level of existence. This is the thing that man has in common with God, and only us know it. Other animals participate in it, they don't know it. And so, what we might say is that would it be possible for us to produce machines, robots that have self transcendence? If we do, what would be their limit? Because if we come to the human being, like I say, for now we can identify four faculties of consciousness. We have reason, we have understanding, we have imagination. They belong to the spiritual part. They are not part of this physical body. And then there is the physical body controlled by the brain. So the brain is the seat for the spiritual body, because the spiritual body joins the physical body at 7 places: the soles of your feet, your backbone here, where the spinal cord joins your buttocks, your navel, your heart, your voice box, your pituitary gland, and your pineal gland. So you see that at any time the human being wants to take off, die, he start dying from the feet to the head. And we say brain death is the last death, because that's the last part where the spirit makes its departure. Now, there's a fusion between the two. Now, what is the essence of that? First, for me, if you look at the brain, if you were to Google the brain, I've forgotten how many brain neurons we have, brain cells we have. Is it 6 billion? 86 billion, and we are barely using 10%. So imagine if we use 10.001%. That 0.001% could be hundreds of thousands of cells. Could be 100,000. When some human being begin to use extra 100,000, extra 1 million, extra 2 million, then it means that when we get to that stage, what we call today the highest level of civilization will become primitivity. And so we're still talking about process. Then that is one. The last thing I want to say, so that I don't take all the time. The whole essence of the spiritual part of man, which the materialist philosophers will not want to believe, is that spirit, which materialists call energy, has the ability to expand itself even with zero energy. So, for those who are busy using their brains constantly, it is possible for spirit to expand their brain capacity even beyond the 86 billion, because we will be communicating with the cosmos. And so for me, the question of AI, it didn't start today. That's why I've been developing a thought, thinking about it, African AI. And when I told one of my mama friends and lecturer, senior professor in the US. She said spiritual AI. I said, no, I don't want to talk about spiritual AI because we're not the only ones that did it. Indians are into it, the Chinese are into it, and they are tapping into their spiritual AI to produce artificial AI, which is why they are at class in the West. But we have left our own spiritual AI. We've denigrated it with Christianity and Islam, Juju, this one. What we call Aros, Yorubas call Ebora, they are AI. And so when the Christians will sing a song that we are worshiping handmade God, Mame, we, I'm a Babalawo, we know that we made it, and we know we made it for a purpose. That these Fulani traveling, troubling people, our forefathers knew how to deal with them. They just mold one thing and put some incantation in it, and then they give it life by putting bull and so on and so forth, and put words into it, and then they tell you to start working from 10 p.m. or 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. And they tell you don't work during that period. Don't go out. Because in that period, it moves. Anybody sees on the road, it kills. But if they now got to the level that they now brought in forensics into it, that's when they give birth to a baby, they cut the head, they cut the finger, they give it and say, your child or your son. And so that's when they say we started worshiping those things. It's a give and take mechanism. The more, and it works with intelligence, what we call cosmic conscience. If I give birth to it, I say, your child, we don't born new child. Though. Here is the name is Chika, Babatunde. This is the hell. This is so the animal, the totem that we use for that thing will smell it. And once it smells it and it's in the memory, anytime it goes and it smells, oh, this is one of my own. That's just it's a mechanism. All this thing you call spirituality, they are mechanism. But we have thrown all of this away. And then it goes. And because it has this, what we call the ethereal body, it has the ability to meander from the physical to non-visible to non-visible. So it kills wherever is an unsailing enemy. That was how they dealt with such issues. That's the thing that Europeans are busy producing as comic. And our children are, you see, Voltron. Those are all those things. So, but we are throwing our own, denigrating it. We are not developing it. So, the question of AI for me, it's how we conceive it. But my pain, my grouse, the problem I have with how we are swallowing AI is that we are not getting to the ontology of AI. We are only interested in the finished product of AI as it is imported to us. So that way, we are never going to be producers. We will always be consumers.
Thank you, Prof. I'm not giving us a glimpse into the African, looking at the AI from African perspective, remind us of so many things. Because some of these idols, the AIs that our ancestors made, they move. Some of them move in the night, some of them move in the day. You give them life, just as you say that God in the Bible, in the what they say, the valley of dry bone. When Ezekiel prophesied to those bones and they stood up as a vast army, but there was no life in them. And say, Son of man, breathe into them. The church can tell us this one better. And then he did, and then they had life. So some of these they had life. Some of those idols they could speak, they could identify those that have done evil, and then they were working against evil. They don't do evil, they work against evil. And when we have chased all those things, we have destroyed them, and then we have embraced what is foreign and then learn to us. Then we need to go back and understand the ontology of African spirituality so that we know how to apply it and then we can remake our society by going back to our culture. But the discussion will continue. This is not the end of the discussion. Thank you very much. And